Happy Monday, everybody. Ben Johnson, come on down. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Yes, I am perspiring a little bit. Sprinted from the garage to the studio here, but that's what we do. We already put out the breaking news cut, so appreciate everybody who watched that. But now it's time to interact with all of you, discuss some of the other news and notes that are coming in. Dennis Allen being rumored as the top defensive coordinator candidate, so we're rocking and rolling here. Of course, we'll take your questions. Super chats will take the priority, obviously, with a lot of people tuned in. Thanks so much, and if you're all in on Ben Johnson, type me in the comment section below, and let's get this thing rolling, man. I want to shout out producer Sam Brown for filling in. You guys have seen him before. It's probably been a while, but he's a little under the weather, helping us out today. Limited staff due to it being a holiday. So, Sam, appreciate you stepping up here. We greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Hey, someone had to do it, and to be honest, I'm just as excited for you as I am for the Bears fan base as well. And Ben Johnson, the belle of the ball, if you will. Excuse me. This is a big move. Chicago had to have this one, plain and simple. You know that as well as anybody, but to see it actually come to fruition is it's a different feeling entirely.
It's exciting, and I said this on our breaking news video reaction I put out a little bit ago. If we come back 3-4 years from now and this didn't work out, well, at least this time around you just did the obvious thing. Like, you've hired the most qualified, young, up-and-coming, hotshot OC that's on the market when you just took a quarterback number 1 overall. Like, it makes sense. The Bears often have not done things that make sense. This does, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited. Credit to Adam Schefter. How about the old bear down tweet from the Schefty here saying Chicago is finalizing a deal for Ben Johnson. He gets their man. Let me get a few shout-outs, by the way. I don't want to leave the chat hanging. Andrew, Hakeem, Chris, Refrigerator Repair, Yo X, Leonard, Santana, Brandon. We've got a lot of dubs coming in, too. Always acceptable. Oz. We got Diego, Jackson R, Bearsy, Corey. Appreciate you guys rocking and rolling with us. We're going to be here as long as you guys are hanging out. Okay, Tom Pelissero as well. Tom Brady and the Raiders made a push for Ben Johnson. The Jags also interviewed him, but Chicago was always the most likely landing spot. Negotiations heated up quickly this morning, and now the Bears have landed a talented mentor for number 1 pick Caleb Williams. Look, I'm not one to gloat. I'm not one to, say this or that, but he was never a Raider. It just has to be said. He was never a Raider. And, the more I thought about it this morning when it seemed like there might be momentum for Chicago, it's like, why would he go to Vegas? I get it. You could help handpick the GM. He has been the most selective first-time head coach in recent memory, and he's going to go to the Raiders with no path to a quarterback, with a talentless roster, in a hard-as-hell division. I get the NFC North is tough as well, but he knows it. Like, Brady's presence alone was not going to get that done. And now the Bears get their guy. So that is absolutely fantastic. And I, for one, could not be more happy. Let's get through. You want to get through a couple super chats, then we'll thank some sponsors here. We're just going to interact with all of you as information comes in. Appreciate you guys tuning in here on MLK Day, Inauguration Day, busy news day in general. But we're talking Bears football, baby. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Shout out to Jason, Wasim. We'll get to all those flying in. Excuse me. Golly. Well, I've been sick twice in the last month, but I'm mostly over it now. But a little, when you have a toddler, you're never really 100%. That's kind of what I've learned. All right, we'll start with Adam Downing. The Geno's deep bitch. What did I just say? Deep dish pizza came through. Whatever it was, Adam, it got over the line. And I think we do have to say this. We got to give the Bears credit here. There's been a lot of reasons to push back on what they've done, question, completely decisive here. We're not going to let you go interview in person with Vegas. You're not flying down to Jacksonville. You're our guy. Come sign the paper. Let's get this thing done. Okay, we got depressed Bears fan. Chris Moore, hey, yeah, you may have to change your name. Although, if you want to wait for some results, I won't blame you.
I think you just changed it to Bears fan until further notice.
Bears fan, parentheses, not depressed for now. Chris Morgan finally gone. Bear the frick down. That's true. Adios, Chris Morgan, one of the worst offensive line coaches I've ever seen. He's back with another. He says, I wonder if Ben went back to Detroit last year because he wanted the Bears job and just had to wait until Chicago fired Flus. Well, I will say this, and someone I do want to shout out. Albert Breer said about 2 months ago, I think he said this on Cap and Jay Hood. He said that the rumor and the chatter in last year's coaching cycle was that the Bears was the job he wanted. And if that job opened up, he would have heavily considered it. Well, fast forward a year, he takes this job, doesn't even do a second interview anywhere else. Kind of feels like that was true. So shout out to the real one, Mr. Albert Breer. And it's crazy how these things can play out sometimes. All right, shout out to our sponsors. Game Time, we'll start there. What are they known for? Oh, that would be last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. If you want to go check out Ben Johnson and the Bears next season, once tickets become available, get your tickets with Game Time. Obviously, in the meantime, you go check out the Bulls, the Blackhawks, wherever you're living, your local teams, concerts, comedy shows. Game Time has the best options for you and the best prices available. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to events much easier. It'll filter out the fluff. That way, it'll only show you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Super deals as well, which are the best bang for your buck on quality seats. Sometimes you get little discounts as well. Download Game Time today. Create an account. Use code CHATSPORTS, all one word, to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. We are also sponsored by our friends. Yeah, that's Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. Listen, only got a couple of games left, including the big game, which is just around the corner. They've got some deals for that. Go to the promo tab and check that out. But you got games every single night, from basketball to hockey to soccer, etc. Obviously, a couple big football games left. The way Prize Picks works is simple. You set lineups of 2 or more players. Pick more, pick less. And if you hit, you win some money. How about a little action here tonight? Will Howard, you get a deal right there, half a passing yard. You're already halfway home if you do a 2-player lineup. I'm going 3. Riley Leonard going to go less on his passing yards. They're going to run him a lot tonight. Jeremiah Smith, he got held in check last game. Notre Dame's pretty good on defense, so I'll take the less there as well. 5 to win 50 on this 3-player entry, but right now you can win up to 1,000 times your money on certain lineups. Check out Prize Picks today. Use our code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play for just $5 initially. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. All right, appreciate our sponsors there. Josh Pike, LFG. So many Raiders saying they had him locked up. Look, I'll be fair here. As Bears fans, do we sometimes get ahead of our skis? Have we been disappointed before? Yes. But we are not the Raiders. That is one thing that is undoubtedly true. The Bears are a better franchise than the Raiders. Not saying much, but that is a fact. So, it is kind of funny to see them be disappointed once again. All right, Poppy Chulo sit. Harrison really thought he had a day off. You know, I kind of had the option to work or stay or take the day off. Or I was like, okay, I'll be off today. I'm still going to do content from home. I did a video this morning. Obviously, this breaking news came out, came in and everything. I just thought this would at least take a day. I thought he would at least talk to a couple of teams. But again, credit to the Bears. They didn't waste any time. I think another thing that's definitely true, when that news got leaked to Jay Glazer Saturday night that they were going to bring in Eddie George to complete the Rooney Rule, that wasn't how it was reported, but that's what the reasoning was. Fair or not, again, I think the NFL needs to look at the Rooney Rule. That should have been more of a signal of they're fast-tracking this. Like, they have a guy in mind. They're going to try and get him immediately. And that's what they did here. Hey, Ben, you're not going to Vegas. You're not going to Jacksonville. You're coming here. What's it going to take? Let's get this deal done. And they deserve credit for that, man. They deserve credit for that. So, Tony, haven't been this excited since my first BJ. Your first Ben Johnson. Who was the first Ben Johnson? Is this Ben Johnson Jr.? I know what you're saying, Tony. That's what's the word I'm looking for? That's
accurate.
That's it's something. It's something. Congrats to you, Tony. Congrats to all Bears fans except for the few that didn't want him. DeJounte Perkins, Rome Odunze 17-yard season incoming. I don't know about that, but I do think Ben Johnson will do a much better job of getting the ball to playmakers. One, who's really happy about this hire outside of Caleb Williams, he basically said that's who he wanted on the St. Brown Bros podcast. I mean, he basically said it without saying it. I mean, he got freaking catfished, basically, because he was so excited that he thought Ben Johnson was coming. This is a good note from Spotrac that all the guys under contract, etc. By the way, Swift is under guaranteed windows. I got it. Yeah, I think a couple of things as we go forward, and we'll do videos on this. And the guy I was going to say who is super happy outside of Caleb, I think is Cole Kmet. Seeing what Sam Laporta has done in that offense with Ben Johnson, I think Cole Kmet, who said this on his show with CHGO a couple months ago, that he loves watching Detroit's offense and how creative and how fun it is. So, I think the offensive guys got to be pretty happy. All right, starter, the Chicago Bears are back. I hope so, starter. I hope so, starter. We can all hope. Nothing's a guarantee, but I do feel pretty good today. All right, who else we got? We got a lot of supers to get through here. We'll continue to load those up. We got Allen. Ryan Poles has given you a pocket passer and Ben Johnson. Well, Caleb's he's dual threat, but he can certainly win in the pocket. But I don't know if you're trying to make a BJ joke again there, but hopefully that marriage works. Jimmy Jam. Harrison, hopefully no speeding tickets coming in. No speeding tickets. In fact, I got stuck at a couple red lights that were borderline that I didn't race through because you gotta take your time.
We're all about improving in 2025.
Yeah, we're taking steps forward. We're not cutting lines here. So that's how it goes. NFL Mastermind. I'm still waiting on something to happen. This can't be real. You get the guy with Caleb now. Get no line, and you are set. Bear the F down. Yeah, I mean, look, next steps are pretty simple. Fill out your staff, attack free agency in the draft on areas you need to. I think you look at this, trenches on both sides of the ball. I would like to get another running back to pair with DeAndre Swift. I'd rather go draft there to do that middle rounds. And I'd like to get a burner on the outside. I don't think wide receiver in general is a priority, but who can be a guy that can take the top off? I mean, Adunze and DJ can do that some, but they're not like just pure track guys. Like, I'm not saying you can find your own Jamison Williams, but can you get a light version of that? That would be pretty exciting. All right, the Polish hardware store. We had Bears fans at the airport watching Ben Johnson's play and land bear down. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. That was pretty crazy, and I guess that was the plane. I haven't been able to catch up on that because as they were out there tracking that, the news broke. So I don't know if that was for sure his or not. I'll have to circle back on Twitter, but don't tell me this fan base ain't dedicated. They had people at the freaking private airport tracking this freaking flight, which is just remarkable. Just crazy. Bears fans deserve to win, man. Tony Williams, I wonder if the Raiders was leveraged from Ben Johnson's camp. I think possibly. I think also, look, if Tom Brady calls you, you're going to listen. I mean, if Mark Davis calls, does he even take that interview? Let's be honest. I say no. And once the Jags kept Trent Baalke, it's like they're done. That's not happening. So who knows? We'll see if any of that stuff ends up leaking out. Emiliano, you've been pushing for Ben the Pen Johnson. It was always you. Credit to the organization for finally going all in and sticking by polls. They believed in their vision. Hope it pays off. Happy for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good day. It's a chance. It's a second chance for Ryan Poles. An easy guy to root for. I was kind of in the camp of, I would have reset there if it cost you an opportunity at Johnson. It didn't. So I'm open to seeing this marriage work. So kudos to Poles, Warren, whoever was involved to get this thing done. Sean says we got Dennis Allen. I don't think anything's official there. I think you still have to go through Rooney rules for other hires as well, right?
Not 100% certain on that front. If so, I would imagine the requirements might be
I think it's one
smaller,
instead of two. Let me see.
It is worth noting while he's looking that up, to Sean's point here, from Diana Rossini when the hire was made, Luann Rumor and Dennis Allen have both been discussing opportunities to join Ben Johnson as a defensive coordinator, depending on where he landed. He is expected to select Dennis Allen, and then a couple minutes later, Lou Anarumo gets hired in Indianapolis as the DC.
Yeah,
there,
and look,
so.
I did a video about 10 days ago defensive coordinator candidates if you land Ben Johnson.
And it is at least one external minority candidate for coordinator position.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right here on Google. So we'll see who they interview. Maybe they can get an interview with Saleh, who I'd be interested in hiring, by the way. But yeah, they'll have to do an external minority candidate interview for the coordinator positions as well. Not as concerned about the OC because Ben's going to call the plays. I would imagine, honestly, he brings someone from Detroit's staff to fill that void as well. But yeah, Sean, Dennis Allen, certainly the favorite. They'll have to comply with the Rooney Rule. But that's another reason why you want to get your head coach done as soon as possible if you feel good about it, because these quality assistants, they go. Like if you waited 3 or 4 days, Anarumo's gone. Dennis Allen might be gone. So you get this thing done, and now you could start filling out the rest of your staff. So this is why I was rooting for Washington the other night, because if Detroit's still playing, you're just waiting for another week. And even if you end up getting Ben Johnson still, well, you've potentially lost out on high-quality assistant coaches. So now you can hit the ground running from that standpoint. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Like the video. We got over 3,000 people watching live. I'd love to make a push for 114,000 today. I'll tell you what, we're at $230 in super chats. If we get to
and by the way, we're about to hit one of the big hogs. One of the big hogs in super chats that we've gotten to this point.
If we get to once we get to 300, I'll knock out a beer bong. I'll knock out another one if we get to 114,000 as well. Let's rock. Let's roll. Coverage still just getting started here. Head coach is just, it's like the it's the pinnacle. You got plenty of other dots or I's to dot, T's to cross, all that stuff. Because every good team will tell you, every good head coach will tell you, like, you're only as good as your assistant coaches. So that's why I think getting an experienced guy like Dennis Allen, who's been a head coach before, high-quality DC, I would like that a lot to pair with your first-time head coach. Okay, we got Lucas. Has been the most hyped candidate since Shanahan. I mean, Harbaugh last year, but everybody kind of knew what he was all about. But for a first-timer, he's definitely up there. I'm trying to think of other first-time head coaches in recent memory to get this amount of buzz. Because even McVay, it was like, whoa, he's 30. Like that's a big swing that the Rams are taking. Can you think of any, Sam, first-time head coaches in recent years that have been this hyped? Because this guy's turned down jobs 2 years in a row.
No, I mean, it sounds weird, but like even names from like the Shanahan tree a few years ago were the ones that came to mind. Like I remember there being enough Mike McDaniel buzz, funny enough.
Mike McDaniel had some hype.
Really innovative, runs a lot of concepts that you don't see everywhere. But as far as just...
Dayball had a pretty good amount of hype coming from Buffalo.
I think part of this is also just because he turned down all those jobs last year and stuck around. He built another year of anticipation of where will he land.
I think it's two things. I think it's that he's legitimately been this selective and turned down jobs. I think also the fact that he's been part of a turnaround in Detroit, a place that has been a joke forever. I think people are like, whoa, like, how is Detroit doing this? Oh, well, they got this guy calling plays and having Jared Goff look like a fringe MVP candidate. So I think there's a lot that goes into it.
And speaking of, for Detroit, it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
They're going to lose Aaron Glenn as well.
Welcome back to the depths of football.
Did they miss their window? People are talking. And look, and I'm not saying they have or haven't. They're still really talented. I do think, though, Dan Campbell's a good example of that is the risk of a CEO head coach. Because if you have good coordinators, you're going to lose them. So now Detroit has to go replace these guys, and that is not going to be easy. He was never a Raider. Here, wait,
get into the mic.
Talk on screen.
This is going to make people laugh.
Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, just now on his live show said, "I never wanted a head coach that would run everything anyway." When he was just Hawk-Tuaing Ben Johnson to come to Las Vegas.
That's very on brand.
The insane coach.
Hey,
that's an all-time.
If you go back in there, can you ask him? Does he still trust his boy Vinny? Because I remember him hating Vinny. Vinny loved him. Yeah, last month.
This is the
Happy New Year, Vinny.
Most on-brand Raiders pivot.
Spin zone.
If he didn't want to be in Vegas, we didn't fucking want him.
He wouldn't even yell Raiders out loud anyway.
Yeah, bring back Antonio.
He's just not as committed to excellence as the rest of the Raiders fans are, who haven't won a playoff game in 25 years.
Aiden O'Connell doesn't need Ben Johnson. Okay, Andres with the 50. Shout out to
Let's
my guy
go.
Andres dropping a 50 here. Ben was always the first choice for the Bears. This news came out not even 48 hours after the Lions were eliminated, so it was apparent he was all on the Bears. Caleb Williams, bear down, y'all. I do think this is a good point by Andres. Why did Ben Johnson take this job so quickly, didn't do second interviews elsewhere? To me, it is a clear signal that he is a believer in Caleb Williams. Why else would he not go listen to those other opportunities? Because he thinks this is the best path to build a sustainable winner based on the jobs available. No offense to the Raiders, they don't have a path to a guy of that talent. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence has some talent. He also has $200 million guaranteed, and he hasn't played that well the last couple of years. This is him telling you, I believe in Caleb. That should get you excited. That should make you very, very excited. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It's no guarantee. Of course it's no guarantee. But this guy believes in him. This guy knows offense. He knows play design. He knows play calling. He knows quarterbacks. I don't know, man. Gets me very excited. Shout out to Trace, who was just on screen, by the way, putting this together earlier as well. I tweeted this out. I can't believe this is my life. The old LeBron in the pool meme. But, yeah. Oh. But, yeah, it's good stuff. Good super chat, Andres. I appreciate you. All right, Noah. Noah says, LFG Harrison, now let's fix the damn O-line. Yes, sir. Let's build this staff. Let's fix the offensive line. By the way, can Ben Johnson poach Lions offensive line coach Hank Fraley, make him the offensive coordinator in title? Then he can come help the O-line as well. Pretty tempting. Pretty tempting. Darren Sells, let's fucking go. Look at you working around YouTube's cuss machine. Kudos to you, Darren. Wasim, I was expecting McCarthy. So psyched we got Ben Johnson. And look, I've said it for a week now. Mike McCarthy was a great secondary option. If that's where this ended up, I would not have hated it. But Ben Johnson was always worth the swing. He was always worth the swing. Now you got him in here. If he can build a good staff, you should feel pretty damn excited about that if you are a Chicago Bears fan. All right, we'll get to a couple more supers, including a boom that just came in. But Schefter, who broke the news a little bit earlier, if you're just joining us, Ben Johnson is the Bears head coach. Dennis Allen is the leading candidate to become the defensive coordinator. You do have to still comply with the Rooney Rule for coordinator hires. That's one external minority interview. So we will see who the Bears bring in to do that. But Diana Rossini having the note that Dennis Allen is the favorite. Lou Anarumo in the mix, but he took the Colts DC job, so he is now off the market.
I did want to get your thoughts on this tweet from Ari Meroff, which is a good point, and it's kind of one that makes sense when you look at how the process shakes out, but not one that you see often. He says, you don't see this often in the coaching cycle. The Bears are hiring Ben Johnson without even having an official in-person interview. A virtual meeting and back-channel conversations with those close to Johnson was enough, and they sealed the deal today. Johnson now is set to fly to Chicago. That kind of makes sense when you've got a coach that's been in the mix to be in the market for a head coaching job for the last 2 years.
In this case, I'm okay with it, and the reason why is if you want to say, hey, Ben, we want to do a formal second interview, we have a couple other finalists, well, you could risk losing them. So if you feel that confident that he's your guy and you can convince him to come here, in this case, I'm okay with it. And look, you let him fly to Vegas or Jacksonville, who knows what can happen. The old, don't let him leave the building, right? Like we've seen it before. So I'm cool with it. And look, again, it's decisive. You're the guy we want. We enjoyed our virtual talk. Let's get this thing done. And there's been rumors that Poles liked him a year ago too, but they ended up keeping Eberflus. Like, I think they've had their eye on this guy for quite a while. All right, Jason. To all the guys saying he was going to Las Vegas, you could suck it. Bears or bust. It's the start. Yeah, you just hate to see the Raiders fans just be in shambles.
No, you don't.
I was being sarcastic.
This is the best part of my day so far.
I texted somebody, I go, best part about this is fuck the Raiders. Oh, Lordy. Andres, also F off Tom Brady. Yeah, listen, Tom, you can't have it both ways, man. You're either a broadcaster or you're an owner. And if you're both, you got to be hands off. Benny J, he saw through it. He knew what he wanted. Refrigerator Repair, shout out to you with the old bear down. Can we get some bear downs in the chat for Refrigerator Repair? Absolute real one. We appreciate him for rocking and for rolling with us. Beans the comedian, how do you feel about bringing back Vic Fangio? Well, he's on a staff, and that's a lateral move. So unless Philly fired him or let him out of his contract, that's not even possible. And they're still playing. Like, that's not going to happen. He's been killing it in Philly. They're not going to let him go. Tricky. I'm a conservative guy, so I would have went with McCarthy for the higher floor, but I do respect the Bears for swinging for the fences. And here's the thing, too. They're taking a big swing here, but it's not like it's an uncalculated one. This guy has built a damn resume. He's turned down jobs like, hey, I need to build more calluses here. Like, I respect it. It's not like this is I don't even know what would be like an uncalculated swing. Like, you know what it would have been an uncalculated swing that could have been a home run but could also be a strikeout? Like Marcus Freeman, who I respect a ton. I think has the chops to be a head coach in the NFL one day, but he has zero NFL experience. That would have been an uncalculated swing, right? Could it have worked? Yeah, but could it have been a disaster? Absolutely. Could this be a disaster? I suppose, but you have way more evidence and more skins on the wall here, and just based on history of this league, first-time head coaches want to have success. Ben Johnson has built more of that on his resume than a guy like a Marcus Freeman, who hasn't even coached in the NFL. Like, guys who have never coached in the NFL that become an NFL head coach doesn't typically work out. It does not typically work out. So now, speaking of Marcus Freeman, I'm rooting for the Irish tonight. You know how much it takes for me to root for Notre Dame. I'm not a Notre Dame guy. Go effing Irish. Go Marcus Freeman. Let's get this thing done tonight. And if you're in the area for where the national championship is being played, you can still get your tickets with Game Time. Last-minute tickets, flash deals. You got super deals as well, which are the best bang for your buck. Views from the seats. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. If you're looking to go to a sporting event, comedy, concert, or anything else that requires an online purchase of a ticket, Game Time is the place to go. The feature Game Time picks will filter out the fluff of thousands of tickets and narrow down your search. It will basically show you price points on the map of these venues, and based on your budget, you'll be able to find tickets that are worthy to you in a very, very quick manner. You can also toggle on all-in pricing, which will make it much easier to know exactly what you're paying for, so you're not surprised when you get to checkout. There's nothing worse than some of these services. You get to checkout and you're like, wait, I thought it was $100. Oh, it's $150. Toggle in all in pricing so you know exactly what the deal is. Views from the seats, curated deals, event cancellation protection as well, job loss protection also. Sign up, create an account, promo code ChatSports, get you $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. That is code ChatSports, all one word, $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. Check it out today. We appreciate Game Time. Link is in the live chat to download the app. Okay, we got Deej here. This is analytically the best hire we've ever made. No question about it. He's had the number 2 overall EPA offense for a 3-year stretch. Like, he's been top 5 in basically all major categories the last 3 years. And look, I'm not trying to disparage Jared Goff, but Jared Goff, even at his peak in LA, was never viewed as an elite quarterback. He became an elite quarterback the last couple of years. I'm not saying that's all Ben Johnson. I think we always have to give the players credit, and the talent around him and all that stuff. But Jared Goff, who I get it, just had a bad playoff game, reached highs that most people did not think he could reach before he paired up with Ben Johnson. Like, Sean McVay was done with him. Ben Johnson got this guy and got him to a new level. He's creative. I just I'm excited to see what he can do with a talent like Caleb Williams. I really, really am. Country Balls, appreciate the $1. We got Bear Down from H-Town. I hope Ben Johnson brings that O-line coach to them. Me too. You'll have to give him an OC title, but I'm fine with it. He won't be calling plays, so that's cool with me. Hank Fraley's his name. That'd be awesome. NJ, earlier today, the report said he's definitely a Raider. El Mayo, hoping he would come here, and is. It's a great day to be a Bear. Happiest watch in 4 seasons. Yeah, look, it's a good time. It's a fun time, but the work's just beginning. There's a lot to be done. Got to get this coaching staff built. Got to add some pieces to this roster, and players got to improve. Offense has to be installed. Defense has to be installed. So got a long way here, but this is step number one. This is step number one. Matthew Burns, been with you guys for some ups and downs, mostly downs, unfortunately, but appreciate it. Happy to be here on a good day. Bear down, FGB. Let's go, Brandon. Go Irish. Big game tonight.
I got to say, I remember the good old days during that 14-game losing streak?
14.
Before
the end of Flus's first season,
Yep.
10 in a row, 0-4 in his second season.
I remember sitting through a lot of meaningless football games with you.
Were you producing the one playoff game we've gotten to watch, the Jimmy Graham walk-off? Was that you?
Yes, because remember
one hand to walk into retirement, basically.
Yes, because you remember I had the cover or whatever it was, and they didn't even play out.
If they kicked the extra point, you would have gotten a push.
Exactly. They didn't even bother playing it out because it just didn't matter towards the overall score. That pissed me off.
That's the only playoff game I've gotten to do here on Bears Now.
I'm glad the Bears are back now.
We're back, baby. Let's go. Mark, down in the dumps to soaring in the clouds. How sweet it is. Let's go, man. The adrenaline rush I got when I think Pelissero was the first nodie. I can't remember who. Man. That was like crack. I've never done crack. I don't recommend, but wow. I can imagine. That's what it was like. In an alternate universe. Darren Sells, thoughts on Dennis Allen. Love it. Former head coach, proven defensive coordinator. Here's the thing, too, about Dennis Allen. He's not getting a third chance to be a head coach. So if it works, he could be like your Steve Spagnuolo. I'm not saying it's good, but like where you know what you have in your DC and he's not getting poached. Like, this is the ideal setup. Offensive play caller who hits, pairs with your quarterback, defensive coordinator that doesn't get poached to be a head coach. That's the ideal setup in today's NFL. It's what the Chiefs have. Spags has gotten some interviews, but he's probably not going to get a head coaching job. That has been a luxury for the Chiefs, and now the Bears are trying to replicate that. I respect it. Waleed.
By the way, real quick, I missed a couple. I wanted to give shout-outs. Mark Wagner and Deej, first-time Super Chatters on the channel, as well as Waleed Johnson. Appreciate
What's
you
up?
guys.
Appreciate the first-time Super Chatters. Waleed, but I thought Ben Johnson wouldn't like Ryan Poles. Both of them at Boston College Connect, but I guess people like to make up shit. Yeah, look, we didn't know what was true, what wasn't. Clearly, that's not the case. Clearly, he felt comfortable. Kudos to Poles. Kudos to Kevin Warren getting this thing done. So, we do have to be fair, though, to question the Bears' process. They have whiffed on the last four coaches. So, but on paper, this is an excellent hire. On paper doesn't mean shit. You got to go out and prove it, but this is an excellent hire on paper. Logic, bear down in the chat. King Poles working. Let's build back up before he becomes King Poles again, but this is a good start. This is a good start. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're all in on Ben Johnson, spam me in the chat. We'll get some shout-outs. We know we got some more supers, including that $100 one.
I wanted to give us a little break in the action. We'll get right back into it.
We'll break the action.
Keep the party going. We are coming up.
We
on
use our
boom.
timeouts unlike Matt Eberflus. We use our timeouts unlike Matt Eberflus.
A very early shout out to Glenn Miller. We're trying to get on all the super chats before we get to his, but that's a boom.
Yeah, we're bringing the boom, and so is Glenn Miller.
I'll do my best Colin boom impression. I don't know how well I can match it, but hey.
Hey, we're bringing the boom. Jake, Zootrash, Jake, again, Ryan Palmer, Prometheus, Wasim, Alexander, Chris, FG Productions. We got Micah, Joshua, Oz, Allen, Ate It, Ryan Palmer, Micah. We got Lucas, Trippy. Let's go with Oz, Lucas, Unknown, Robert, Icy Edits, Z Ganji. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the live chat. All right, Logic says bear down in the chat. Oh, we already got this one from Logic. Thank you, Logic. Keegan, do you think there will be a focus on O-line? I mean, I'd have to think so. That's the clear weakness of this offense right now is the offensive line. Darnell Wright, we know, is going to be the starter at right tackle. I think all other four spots are up for grabs. Yeah, this is good. Matt Pryor is going to be a free agent. We'll see if he's back. He's kind of I will say this about Pryor. I'd like to bring him back to be like your top backup interior guy. Tevin Jenkins feels like he's more likely gone than not. Coleman Shelton, I'd say that's 50-50. Braxton Jones has 1 year left in his rookie deal. Is he your left tackle for one more season? Does Karan Amagaji factor in at all? The little we saw him this year, it wasn't good. So a lot of work to be done with this offensive line. Okay, TJ. We are assembling the Avengers. Let's assemble something, man. We've been unassembled for too long. Joey, such an obvious pick for Ben Johnson. If Bro's locked in, he's a legend. I hope so. I hope so, Joey. From your lips to God's ears, baby. Chicago Bears 19-20. What do you think about Ohio State offensive lineman Ryan Simmons? I think it's Josh Simmons, the left tackle. He's a big-time prospect. Tore his ACL in the middle of the year. I think it was an ACL. I'd have to double-check. I know it was a season-ending injury. ACL, producer Sam confirming. It just makes me a little nervous because anybody you draft in the first round, you need to contribute right away. So if they feel good about where he is medically, let's say it's a 10-month injury. He got injured in October. That means he'd be ready by August. Okay. You're going to miss a lot of the offseason program, but if they think he's really good, then obviously he'd be someone they'd consider. Oh, we got our Knicks studio going off next door. Lucas praying. What's that?
I just said I forgot about all of these games in the middle of the afternoon today.
Yeah.
It's a nice little twist.
Yeah.
Just hear Marshall yelling at the top of his lungs at 2 o'clock in the afternoon
Nothing
instead
better.
of 8:30.
Yeah. Lucas, surely we see a polls extension. Yeah, you would think they'd line them up. I guess we'll see. But if they do, we will cover that news. We will cover that news. B, do you think Ben will want Keenan back? It's a good question. I'm open to bringing Keenan Allen back for two caveats. One, price has got to be right. Two, it cannot impact your ability to go attack the offensive line. If it comes down to Keenan Allen or a starting offensive lineman, you got to go starting offensive lineman. But I will say this, Caleb Williams said on the St. Brown Brothers podcast, who are the best players you've ever played with. Keenan Allen was a player he mentioned. So, I think he'd want him back. I would think Keenan would be open to coming back and playing in a Ben Johnson offense, building with another season with Caleb Williams. We'll see. I think it'll come down to money. All right, country. When do tickets go on sale? Well, the schedule doesn't come out till May, the week-by-week schedule. So I would assume after that at some point. Not sure exactly how long after that. Xavier, Caleb Williams, 4,000 passing yards incoming. Hope so. Threw for almost 3,600 this year, and it was a mess with 3 OCs and 2 head coaches. Tony, Hank Fraley is OC. That's a name I think to monitor because if you're Ben Johnson, you don't need to swing for some super creative play caller. You're going to call the play. So I would try to bring in Fraley because he has worked with that offensive line in Detroit. He can work with your offensive line here while contributing with the game planning for the offense for the week as well. Maybe he helps with the run game coordination stuff also. Have to wait and see. NJ, we have enough cap space to abuse free agency. Love that. Abuse free agency. They got a lot of money. Got good draft capital.
I was going to say we can show this graphic here right now. They've already accomplished
That's true.
20% of your perfect offseason.
Yeah, my perfect
so far.
offseason will start with Ben Johnson. 2, give him heavy roster control, especially offensively. Maybe that's part of why he got on board so quickly. He's going to have a lot of say. Fix the offensive line. You guys have been asking about that. I like the idea of drafting a physical downhill running back to pair with Swift. Like, ideally, I would think Ben Johnson would want to create his own version of Montgomery and Gibbs. Swift could be your Gibbs. Not as good. No one is saying that. But, like, your guy out in space who can make people miss. We saw him I think he had 3 touchdowns of 40 yards or longer this year. Like, DeAndre Swift in space, on the perimeter, catching balls out of the backfield, can still be a really good player. But I like having that physical in between the tackles runner that also has some explosiveness. Roshan just isn't explosive. He's good in short yardage. You get him on the goal line, you can hand him the rock, he'll score, but he doesn't have much wiggle at all. Like, I like him as a third back, but I think you need that back to pair with Swift, and there's a lot of good ones in this draft. You got Amarian Hampton. I don't think you're going to take Genty in the first round, but Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State. There's a lot of good ones, so get your hands on one of those guys, pair them with Swift. Got a pretty good backfield there. Mario, let's go Bears to divisional round next year, calling it now. I hope you're right, man. I would just, if you told me right now, hey, you sign this, it's a guarantee to make the playoffs, but nothing else after that is guaranteed, I would sign it. Get me to the playoffs. Let's see what happens after that. Erica, welcome to Chicago. Ben, we got our guy. So excited. It's exciting. It's exciting. I got to do a beer bong because we crossed 300. I'll do every 3. Oh, we got to do it after this, though. Because my man, Glenn Miller. Boom! He says, bear down. This feels like the biggest thing since we traded for Jay Cutler. Hopefully it goes a little better. Not that Cutler was bad, but I hear what you're saying. Can't think of another time. Maybe the Khalil Mack trade. Either way, can't be happier. FGB tides are changing. We hope so. They got to prove it. We hope so.
By the way, I promised I would get it the next time, and then I went ahead and missed it. Mario, first-time super chatter. Appreciate
Shout out to Mario.
You're a real one.
Cheers.
Everybody spam chug. It's party time. It's officially happened. The sun is finally starting to come through in the clouds. It's still windy.
I dreamt for moments like this. All the cliches.
Let me pull up the Dreams and Nightmares lyrics right now.
All the cliches. I can't believe
I'm going to drop them throughout the
I can't
course
believe
of the show.
this is my life.
I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind
All
like that to
the
shine like
cliches.
this.
Oh, man.
Shout out, Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn. Erica. Oh, we already hit this one from Erica. Shout out to Erica. What a great win for the Mavs today, Coop. Oh, wait.
Why would you say that?
Are they going to miss the playoffs?
No.
Are they going to be a play-in team?
Yes.
The Hornets? God. Gafford career day doesn't even matter.
Josh Green revenge game. We knew what was coming here today.
Kyrie scored 11 points in the first 5 minutes.
Moss Tanker. Looks like we're winning another offseason. That's true. We need to win when it matters, but we can only control what time it is on the calendar. So, hey, at least the Raiders didn't win the offseason. At least. Well, someone super chat. Looks like we're winning another offseason. At least the Raiders didn't do. I mean, he was never a Raider, Coop. Paleo. I want Ben Johnson to have more roster control than previous Bears coaches. I think that would be a breath of fresh air. I agree. I don't think it has to be full, but give him some say.
Certainly early on, right? I think, like, if you get into the back end of the process and we realize, okay, we let Ben build this thing from the ground up a little bit, and look at us, we're still on the second floor when we should be in the penthouse suite now. Then you reevaluate, and I think by that point there will be a new GM in town that's going to want more matters in his own hands as well.
Well, and look, I'm not sitting here saying, hey, Ben, we want you to identify safeties for us to draft. But your vision offensively, we are going to take that into heavy account. Like, these are the type of running backs you want, we'll get one of them for you. You want to bring back Keenan Allen, we'll make that happen if it's reasonable. Like, these are the type of things that he needs to be having some control over here, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So, exciting day. Feels like the start to something potentially special, but we got to wait and see. It's a long process. Perk 30. Appreciate the 2, Perk. Randy, do we have details on the contract? No idea, but I think it's clear the Bears were willing to pay up this time. That report where they called the Steelers to check in on Tomlin, Mike Tomlin makes $16 million per year. So I would guess Ben is making at minimum 12 or 13, potentially 15 plus. It's a significant contract.
Randy Sutherland, first time.
Shout out to Randy, first time super. Shout out to Randy. Joe just got here. Any details on same question? No idea on the contract. Sometime we'll see if that even gets leaked. We'll see. Chicago legend. Can we get a way too early mock offseason? Well, I did a perfect offseason. I'll probably redo it now. Perfect offseason with Ben Johnson. But, yeah, I'm 1 for 1 on my perfect offseason. Step 1 was hire Ben Johnson. So we'll see where it goes from there. M. Gimp Show. Tutu Atwell could fit, right? That's an interesting, like, speed option. Like, he's not Jameson Williams, but he is a burner. Is he a free agent? Okay, I'm intrigued. Get him for like $4 million. I wonder if Ben Johnson will have any like positive viewing of Tyler Scott. Producer Sam interviewed Tyler Scott at the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Great guy, rooting for.
Seems like a very likable guy.
Very likable guy.
I wanted him to be a part of the offense.
Tricky to figure out where he fits at this point.
He did. They played him more as a rookie, which, look, I get it when you draft Rome and sign Keenan, there's going to be less opportunities, but he was getting, like, DeAndre Carter was getting snaps over him. So this is a big offseason for Tyler. Look, if you're a guy that's not a clear-cut starter, anytime a new coaching staff comes in, like, you're put on notice. Like, you're going to have to earn a job. So, other than the top 20% of this roster, guys who are under contract for big money, everybody's got to earn their keep. And
you kind of see it as two ways, I think. One, hell of an opportunity, right? To reclaim your career, reclaim your spot with a fresh start, potentially, new staff. The other side of it, there is that pressure of, if we're on our second coaching staff and he still hasn't broken out, will he ever? Rooting for Tyler Scott, though. Great guy.
Yep. DK Savage, we might as well snag Aaron Glenn. Not going to happen. I think he'll be the Jets head coach by Wednesday, Thursday.
If not Jets, then Saints. Yeah. It's those two. Not Raiders.
I think I'll go ahead and predict it. Glenn to the Jets, McCarthy to the Saints, Pete Carroll to the Raiders. I'm going to do a video on this on my other channel, 4Verts. Dallas, Kellen Moore, and then what's the other open job?
Did I miss one?
There's one other one, right? Jags, Liam Cohen.
Jags, who cares?
Jags, who gives a shit?
He's going to get fired in 3 years anyways.
Harrison Graham Cracker, I've never heard that before. Hire Matt Eberflus's DC, LOL. Nagy is OC. Yeah, let's bring the game back together. Keep up the great work. Bring Kevin Zeitler. I do think I'm going to do this as well. Free agent targets that Ben Johnson could bring in. Kevin Zeitler is a little older, 34, but give him like a 2-year deal to play guard. He is a high-level player. I think you plug him onto this offensive line, that's going to be a name that I would imagine that Ben Johnson's going to want to bring in here. No question about it. Rare breed, Thomas Brown as the OC wouldn't be a bad idea. Listen, if Ben Johnson wants to bring Thomas Brown back as a non-play-calling OC, that's fine with me. The players respect him. Thomas Brown, I think, still has some qualities that I like. I think he was put in a very difficult situation to get 2 promotions in a matter of 3 weeks. That's got to be a Ben Johnson decision, though. I don't think the Bears need to be forcing Thomas Brown onto the staff, but if Ben Johnson wants him back, I'm all for it. Shout out to Rare Breed, first-time super, appreciate you. Paleo, also, did you see that the Bears let go of some data analysts who analyze players? Supposedly it came from Kansas City, too, and his player evals weren't great. I'd have to double-check that. I'm not sure. DM me that, Paleo, at HGramNFL, if there's an article or something. I'll take a look at it. Nolinsky, were you ever leaning more toward Cliff after Saturday? No, but I did say that he was moving up my rankings. I also think Cliff is I think he's kind of told you without flat out saying. I think he wants to be patient here, kind of like Ben has been for a couple years. Now, this is a second chance. I think Cliff also knows, like, hey, if I get another crack at being a head coach, probably the last one I'm getting. So I'm just going to chill in Washington for now. I think Cliff has done a really nice job, though, rebuilding his image. And look, he may just be one of those guys where he's just a great coordinator. Who knows? Maybe Ben Johnson is that as well. Time will tell, but I feel pretty good about this move. Tough one last night, Joey. Tough one.
Shout out to Joey jumping in. For every super chat, how about this? Every $20 super chat we get while we're gone.
While you're gone?
I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I never got the chance to go before we went live.
No, you're good.
For every 20 while we're gone, I don't know, fill half a beer on the Merbonga? Is that fair value?
How about this? If we get
You tell me.
If we get 100 total bucks while Sam is gone, he's got to rip a beer bong and I'll join him. $100 while he's gone. We were at 553 when he hopped off.
And I'm sick, so it's gonna be a physical.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle.
That's gonna be a commitment to excellence, unlike the Raiders.
Oh man! Shout out to Joey hopping on the mic, the producer chair as well. O'Reilly says, and Johnson will develop Bagent too. Yeah, let's get Tyson Bagent on the elite backup train, baby. That was way down my list of what got me excited about this hire, but shout out to you, O'Reilly. Annixon, what do you think this means for Swift's future? You know, it's interesting because Ben Johnson was on staff when DeAndre Swift flamed out in Detroit, so we'll see what that means. They can't really, if they cut him, it doesn't save him any money, so I think he'll be here. Hopefully both sides can make that work. But ideally, you get another running back to pair with Swift. I think Johnson would want to create his own version of Montgomery and Gibbs. Swift is not Gibbs, but can he be a poor man's version of that? Speed and space, catching the ball, all that stuff. I think he can be a poor man's version of that. Jason Marshall, super excited about the Bears taking a big swing and landing Ben Johnson, hoping this doesn't go down like the Josh McDaniels to Denver when he was a hot name. Yeah, I mean, look, there's always – nothing's a guarantee. But I think on paper, this made a lot of sense. You had the number one pick. You need to develop him. This is the most qualified, young, up-and-coming offensive coordinator on the market. He's turned down jobs. He's built more calluses. He's been around winning. He's been a part of a turnaround in Detroit, which is something the Bears need, like an extreme turnaround. So I'm excited about it. Daily basis, would you rather go 10-7 while sweeping the division next year or 13-4 while going 2-4 and losing to the Packers twice? Option 1 gets you a wild card spot. Option 2 is the 1 seed. Yeah, I'll take the 1 seed in a first-round bye. But, I don't want to lose to the Packers. But, yeah, I think anything that gets you closer to the Super Bowl, I think you'd sign up for. But hope you're right, daily basis, on the equals rings. I would take 1 singular. That'd be fun. How about a playoff appearance? Let's not skip steps here. Hey, yeah, a push. How about a Week 18 game for a chance to make the playoffs? Domo Brazy, let's go, Ben. I still think Jay Cutler was the best candidate, though. You guys are funny, man. You guys are funny. Jordan Smith, thoughts on the picture of Caleb with Genty? I have not seen this. Caleb Williams, Genty. I'm going to look at this on the old Twitter. Oh, they were kicking it. He put it on Instagram. Okay. I wouldn't go running back in round 1, but would I be talked into it very quickly? Yes, I would. Oh, man. Hey, Joey, are you mic'd up over there?
Yes, I am.
Joey Peterson hosts our Ravens channel. What was the vibes last night? I didn't get to tune in.
Dude, speechless. That
Tough.
was the vibe. It was just like so frustrating because you feel like you were the better team. You just lost the turnover battle, like the most critical part of the game.
Honestly,
man.
my take from that game was a couple things. One, the Bills basically were just like, we're not going to make the big mistake.
Yes.
They accomplished that. Baltimore didn't. 2 is if there was another quarter to play, I think Baltimore for sure wins.
Yeah.
They were by far the stronger team at the end of the game. They just ran out. They dug themselves too big of a hole.
Yeah, it was and just to lose it on a drop catch, I would have rather like Allen drove them down and they
If you tie it and he gets
Yeah. Then you can tip your cap, but dude, Mark Andrews to drop that ball, it was shocking. That's for sure.
He made 2 critical errors in the fourth quarter. That was tough.
Don't know if we got to 100, but the coaching domino is continuing to fall a little bit. Robert Saleh has a second interview with the Jaguars scheduled for Friday.
Interesting.
So it seems like he could be in the mix for a head coaching job more than we might have anticipated.
Interviews. What do you get? The Jags, the Raiders, and the
Raiders, Cowboys. Yep.
Interesting.
Which, for those of us who potentially want him as the DC, every interview he gets is less and less encouraging that he's got a shot there.
Yeah, look, I mean, you get Dennis Allen, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Okay, Domo. Oh, yeah, there you go, Domo. I think it's going to be Dennis Allen. That's based on the early reports, which I'd be cool with. Elijah, love seeing you happy like this, brother. Are you feeling better about the front office after this hire? Yeah, I mean, look, it's a step in the right direction for sure. And I've said all along, Poles has done some good things. He's also had a lot of misses. So I think this is a good step. Go have a good free agency and draft period, and then let's see if it turns into results. End of the day, got to see results on the field. That's what this all comes down to. Ben, do you think Eberflus would have lost to Green Bay? I mean, he was 0-5 against them, so probably. I mean, probably. Wasim, damn Notre. So you're going Ohio State tonight? Sam, who you got tonight? Who you rooting for tonight? Is that 2 different answers?
It's I don't know that I necessarily have a stake. I may just root for whoever the Bears fans tell me to root for. And I think we know where that's going.
Well,
no, they can be relatively
Big Ten
split.
country for both. You guys let me know in the chat.
I'll go.
Perfect time. OSU, Indy. Who you got tonight?
I'm rooting for Ohio. Or no, I think Ohio State will win. I'm going to root for the over. I'm not going to root for either side.
What is the over?
You know that. You know me, Harrison. You know I love a good over.
Let me guess the over
slaps
under
me
tonight.
right in the
40,
face.
46.5?
Close, 45.5 at least on
45.5.
ESPN Bet. My book might be slightly different, but it's going to be what we think should be a little bit of a dogfight. I'd imagine maybe a dogfight early on, and just kind of like in the Texas game, Ohio State starts to establish themselves a little bit.
What's the spread?
Depends on the website. It's floated between 8.5, 9.5, some places up to 10, but
ESPN's
probably
at
going to
9. settle
settle around the 9 range. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You got a lot of
Notre Dame's coming in.
A lot of Notre Dame's, but it was an early wave of Ohio State, so I could be even.
Yeah. Sketchy. Lane. We got Windy City, Jackson. Let's go Irish from Bearsy. Should be an interesting one tonight. Should be an interesting one. Speaking of the game, if you want to get in on all of the action, be sure to do so with our friends over at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS to get a $50 bonus. If you play for just $5, if you're a new customer, you can launch this entry right here. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. You're going to get an additional $50 for free. They got a freebie right there with Will Howard passing yards, half a passing yard. You take the more, obviously. You're already halfway home if you do a two-player lineup. I got less on Riley Leonard passing yards and less on Jeremiah Smith receiving yards as well. 2 to 6 player entries. Pick more, pick less on the different stat projections available from Prize Picks. You can cross over sports with your picks. You can have a football player, a basketball player, a soccer player, a fighter, an esport athlete, all in your same lineup if you want. As long as it's 2 or more players on 2 or more different teams, you are good to go. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for that $50 bonus. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states. If they're available in your state, you should get signed up. Nothing better than new lineups every single day, and you can win up to 1,000 times your entry on certain lineups right now. Get started with PrizePicks today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Okay, David, he says, let's go. Bear down, FGB. Let's see some good moves with the rest of the staff and that O-line. I'm with you, David. Let's get Dennis Allen. Let's build up this staff, and let's go attack free agency. Landon Roberts, you've probably answered this, but did this make you more confident? I mean, yeah, it's a check mark today. No question. They were able to get the top guy on the market for, one of the top guys for the last 2 years. You could say Jim Harbaugh last year, which I would probably concede that, given he's proven. You could say Mike Vrabel. I think you could argue Ben Johnson more so with Vrabel, but either way, this has been arguably the best or one of the best guys available for 2 years running. So to get him when you need an offensive guy, it's a job well done. It's a job well done.
He had a second super chat here, actually, back-to-back, so we got a little extra camera time here today.
2025. Beat the Packers, Ben Johnson. Let's go. Let's go, Landon. FGB's in the comments. Arturo, we're $9 away from 600. I'll knock out another beer bong then. From the moment I saw on Twitter that a flight was coming from Pontiac, I knew Ben Johnson was coming. Ryan Poles cooked on this one. Harrison, say it with me. I think you meant FGB, not FBG, but FGB. 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 Shout out to Arturo. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here today. Got 3,000 people watching. Drop a like on the video. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your support. All right, Jake. Let's go, Harry. We got our guy. Let's go, Jake. Let's go. Welcome down, Benny. Welcome down. Joe, happy for Ben Johnson. Where is that Packers channel? I want to say FGB. When we launched the first video, I told some of you guys we're launching a Packers channel, so let's make sure they have no chance of catching up in subscribers. When the first video is launched, I will drop the link on our channel, and you guys can go spam the chat with some FGBs.
By the way, shout out FG Productions in here. Said how much longer are you streaming? Until the party ends. We're in party mode now.
Let's go.
So how long? However long you want. Oh, you never know.
Who knows? Who is Ben Johnson's agent? Let me look this up.
He just hired somebody from front office.
Rick Smith, I think, is his name.
Front Office Sports, I believe, last week.
Well, it got leaked last week. I think it actually happened a couple months ago. But yeah, I think his name's Rick Smith. Eugenio, what is this currency? MXN.
This is a peso. This is $1 in pesos.
Oh, Mexican pesos. All right, Eugenio, appreciate you. Reese Lawton, a first-time super chatter.
Let's go.
Shout out to Reese. Let's go, Ben Johnson. If it works, could turn out a season similar to McVay in 2017, 11-5. Yeah, look, obviously the Bears won 5 games last year. I think they're better than a 5-win team. They lost a bunch of close games. The Hail Mary, they never seem to recover from that. There's clearly holes on this roster, but I don't think this is some, major project that needs work here. I think there are additions that need to be made, culture shifting that needs to happen, and obviously improvement from key players, especially the quarterback. But I think it's possible for this team to be a playoff team next year. Do I think this is going to be a top 5 offense immediately? No. But can it be top half of the league immediately? I think that's very much on the table. ML, so happy the Bears didn't find a way to Bears this up. Best day in a long time. Bear down, FGB, F Tom Brady. Brady tried to have it both ways. He tried to make his $37 million a year from Fox and run the Raiders and get Ben Johnson. It didn't happen. Time to learn Pete Carroll, Vegas. Andres, I can see it now. Week 1, Bears at Lions, Sunday night, Monday night. Let's do it. Ben Johnson comes back to Detroit and gets the loudest boos imaginable. I mean, he turned down jobs for 2 years. Obviously, I guess they're going to boo him, but, what are you going to say if you're a Lions fan? This guy is – he came back because he wanted to win a Super Bowl with you guys. Just didn't work out. Drew T. New president, new coach. Let's freaking go. Let's go, Benny. Arturo, who do you prefer for our first-round pick, Calvin Banks Jr. or Will Campbell? Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be one of those two. I think those are 2 guys that you'll hear about a lot, but I think the offensive line class, it's going to be interesting to see where they fall in terms of the entire pecking order of the first round. I think there's questions with both those players. Jeffrey, excellent hire, fire the offensive staff. Yeah, I don't think any of the primary coaches will be back. Could Thomas Brown return in some capacity? I wouldn't completely rule that out, but I would imagine Ben Johnson is getting a staff in order as we speak. No question about it. And it's about getting more out of these guys, getting Caleb off the ground, finding a role that makes sense for DeAndre Swift, having DJ Moore and Rome Odunze being one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL at receiver. Getting more out of Cole Kmet. We know he's capable of it. Not sure why he wasn't more of a focal point this year. So hopefully exciting times ahead. Dennis, let's effing go. Let's go, Dennis. All right, Freddie streams. Love it. Did Kevin Warren hire Ben or Poles? Well, they said all along this would be a Poles hire. So if you're to trust that, Poles, obviously Kevin had a role in the hiring process, but I think unless we're told otherwise, I think this was a Poles' final decision. Corey B. Could Hail Mary actually be a blessing in disguise? Well, I did say this at the time, that the reality is you're never going to win big with Matt Eberflus. Now, I still wish they would have won that game, but who knows? Maybe they learned from all the adversity they faced this year. Tito, I'm a beaten down Bears fan for the last 25 years. Glad they got the best head coach out there, but I'm going to wait to see to get pumped up because this team knows how to let you down. For sure, Tito, but I'm going to be excited in the moment right now. That doesn't mean when the season gets here, we still have to see him prove it, but in this moment, I'm excited. But obviously, none of it will matter if the results don't come. We all know that. Geezer, Rivera would make a nice experience compliment. Yeah, if they wanted to bring in Ron Rivera, or if Pete Carroll doesn't get a head coaching job as like a senior analyst, some kind of role like that, I'd be all for it. I'm not sure Pete Carroll would accept a role like that. Seattle kind of offered him that last year, and he did not want to do it. Could Ron Rivera want to do that? 85 Bears guy? I could see that maybe being a possibility, but we'll see. We'll see. Dennis the Chicago kid, or oh man, we got to reset our super chat graphics here. In the meantime, let's get some more subscribers. If you haven't already, hit that sub button. Sub for Bears dubs. Looking for more dubs in 2025. Beat the Packers. Hire Ben Johnson. Good start to the year 2025. Let's get to 114,000 subscribers ASAP. We're 14 away from 113,800. I do have to do another beer bong for crossing 600 in supers, so I'll get that done here. That graphic, Cloudy, that's guaranteed money. That's guaranteed money. Someone in the chat says Adam Mason is better. Go watch him then. No one's forcing you to be here. Guessing you're here because I'm live and other people aren't, but I don't know.
hoping they were saying, "Hey, Adam Mason," as in Graham, is better. But yeah, if it was what you're talking about, then what he said.
Cheers.
I'm getting the super chats loaded back up on screen right now. In the meantime, I'll get the sub link in the live chat as well. Daily off-season coverage of your Chicago Bears. Thanks to Harrison Graham here. He's not going anywhere. Let me make sure I've got my spot here so we can jump right back where we picked up. There it is. I'm going to put the link in the chat as well for everyone to subscribe.
All right, let's get to 113,800 ASAP. Alex, if we get Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator, that's a coup. Yeah, listen, Dennis Allen would be a great hire on defense. Proven defensive coordinator. I'll take a deeper dive into him, some of his numbers when I get a chance. But as a defensive coordinator, he's great. Obviously wasn't a good head coach, but as a DC, he's good. Matt Booth, first-time super. What's the chances that cross calls to 10? Cross calls. Do you mean someone falls to 10?
I'm wondering if it's someone falling to 10. Yeah, but I'm not sure who Cross would be.
Follow up in the chat, Matt. I think there's some typos going on there. Colin in the chat, super chatting. All right. Dennis. Had Raider fans attacking me on X. Good luck to them. Hey, man. I feel like I kept it. Raider fans thought I was going after them. I was going after the NFL for allowing Tom Brady to be in the position he was allowed to be in.
I'll go after Raiders fans.
It was not personal with the Raiders. Is it fun to see them be in shambles now? You bet your ass. But listen.
I have no problem. They all suck.
Yeah.
I'll be the one.
Adios, baby. All right, Alex. Do a few more here, then we'll hop into an official cut. He says, seeing Washington beat the Lions was a double-edged sword because it was supposed to be us going on this run, but I knew they had to beat Detroit for us to makes me wonder if he was always coming to the Bears. Yeah, look, Washington is having a magical season. Kudos to them. Hopefully the Bears can get on that level soon. That's what we can hope for. Rich Masony, I was hoping for Ron Rivera for 85 Bears rebuild. We gotta move on from the 85 Bears, guys. We can always appreciate them. We can always love them for that team. It's 40 years ago. It's time for a new era. It's time to win with these guys. If they want to get Rivera on staff in some senior role, I'm not against it, but Ron Rivera was terrible in Washington. You could do a lot better than Ron Rivera in the year 2025. Tedros, I wonder how DJ Moore is feeling right now. I can see Keenan staying one more year, but Rome has to be the number 2. We got hope, fellas. Bear down. Yeah, I think if Keenan's back, he's just kind of all reliable slot guy. Rome takes a big step, and hopefully DJ, who finished the year strong, gets back to being that more dominant player. Dustin Hamby, get Fraley, throw a bag at Dahlman and Trey Smith. Yeah, Drew Dahlman, the Falcons center, is a free agent. Trey Smith, the guard, is available as well. We'll see. Trey Smith, that's going to be a bidding war situation, I would bet. He's going to get big-time money. I think he'll reset the guard market. Dennis, those wide receiver conditioning tests that Darnell Wright took pre-draft are going to pay off now that Ben is going to give him 20 targets a season. Oh, yeah, let's slip Darnell Wright in the red zone. Let's get the offensive tackle package going. By the way, Dan Skipper, who ran a lot of those, he's a free agent. I wouldn't mind bringing him in as like a swing tackle. They use 6th offensive lineman a lot. Skipper could be that guy. Ringo, don't be quick to bash Ben Johnson after one loss. People like y'all did with Caleb talking to the chat. Let him cook, bear down. Yeah, I mean, we got to give this thing time, obviously. So it is still a first-time head coach.
From Brad Biggs 34 seconds ago, Ben Johnson is expected to travel Chicago Tuesday morning, at which point he will sign a contract to become the next coach of the Bears.
Okay.
Boom. That's the latest update.
I would guess presser tomorrow or Wednesday. And maybe we'll go live for that. We've done it before. We probably will. So, turn on notice. Yeah, we can. How about this? All right, we know there's some more super chats to catch up on. After Ringo, we're going to Any other super chats we'll answer in our mailbag. Hashtag Bears as well. Reaction to the Ben Johnson hire. We want questions, your thoughts on free agency, the draft, trades, other coaches that could be here. We want Bears fans to sound off and react to the hire of Ben Johnson. So get your thoughts in right now in the comment section below. Ringo, I'll go ahead and answer this one real quick. Don't be quick. Oh, we already answered this one. We got you, Ringo. We doing game time for this? Okay. Mailbag coming up. Your reaction to the Ben Johnson hire. And then I'll keep this thing rolling. I'd say
so.
one or two questions you could do, like predict the Bears record next season or something like that. And then, grade the Ben Johnson hire could be the other one, or you could just go with one.
I would say the easiest way for you to get on the show is going to be super chatting today. We still have a good amount to go through, and shout out to everyone that has today. You guys are real ones. We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
I want to be sure I get as many questions as possible, so once we've caught up on the super chats, we can hit some hashtag Bears as well, but it'll be a little trickier because of all those super chats that have priority. But if you want to skip the line, you know the drill.
By the way, in 2023, there's a chart going around on Twitter ranking defensive play callers after Week 18. So the entire 2023 season, the Dennis Allen, and I don't know, this is based on coverage and market efficiency. I don't know what data goes all into this. Regardless, Dennis Allen was the highest ranked defensive play caller on the list.
That's not nothing.
If you want to compare that to Matt Eberflus, who we all agree was a good defensive play caller, Flus was 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. 14th or 15th. I may have miscounted. So Dennis Allen's a hell of a defensive coordinator if that's who you're getting. So, all right. Super chat to skip the line and get in there. It's probably going to be your best shot to get on the mailbag. Your reactions to Ben Johnson and other questions. We'll get it all answered next here on Chicago Bears Now. What's up, guys? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. It is time for a mailbag following the hire of Ben Johnson as this team's next head coach. We will take all of your questions, thoughts, everything else in between. But listen, this is why you subscribe. We went live for the Ben Johnson hiring. If you're watching right now, we're live breaking that down, taking your questions. When news breaks, we go live, especially when it's big stories. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We are very close to 114,000 subscribers. Any news that drops, we are going to have it covered here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, your questions, we'll get them answered here on the show. All right, Tatum Lipper, it's Tatum again. Jesus is Lord, go Bears. Just excited, Tatum. We appreciate it. K Cobra, who would you think is the perfect running back in Johnson's system? I'm not going to speculate who would be perfect, but I like the idea of a physical downhill runner to pair with DeAndre Swift. I still think DeAndre Swift can be a good player. He's a good pass catcher. He's good on the perimeter. He can hit the home run. He also at times has questionable vision, especially being decisive in hitting the hole in between the tackles. I would prefer him being like a lightning and a thunder and lightning combo. Think poor man's David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Can Swift be a poor man's Jahmyr Gibbs, bring in a physical downhill runner in the draft, an Amari Hampton type, a Caleb Johnson type, an Ollie Gordon type? There's a lot of good running backs in this draft. I know Caleb Williams posted with Ashton Genty on Instagram. I think there will be rumors there of taking him in round 1. I doubt that would be the case unless they felt really strongly about it. But I do think getting another running back in here makes a lot of sense to pair with DeAndre Swift. Matt Bellick, how do we feel about Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator? Love it. He was one of, if not the best play caller defensively in 2023. He's got a long history of being a good defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach, but I like that he's a former head coach. He can help take some of those responsibilities off of Ben Johnson's plate, especially at first as he settles in, and he can run the defense. So that's what I like. Sean B., sign Trey Smith and Mekhi Becton, let's go. Trey Smith, that's going to be a bidding war. I'm not saying the Bears shouldn't get in on it. They should, but I do wonder how big that price tag gets. Becton's an interesting situation as you look at the Bears' offensive line here. Obviously, they need help, especially on the interior. I wonder is some team going to pay big for Mekhi Becton, and then is he just going to mail it in? Like, could this be a Nate Davis on steroids situation? Because it's been an awesome story and turnaround this year. But A, Philadelphia has an awesome offensive line, so he kind of fits in between a lot of good players. And 2, with the Jets, he had injury issues, weight issues, commitment issues. Like, you pay that guy a lot of money. Is he going to revert back to being a guy who doesn't necessarily care all the time? I'm not saying that's true or that's false. I'm saying it's something you got to be careful about because we just went through that with Nate Davis. So I wonder if Becton's a guy they're pretty hesitant on. All right, what do you guys think? Will Ben Johnson work out for the Bears? Y for yes or N for no? Got to be positive, right? I like it. Nothing's a guarantee, but I feel much better about this hire than I did Matt Eberflus. I'll tell you that. I was like, I don't know about this one. I think I was optimistic at the time and graded it like a B-, and that was being way optimistic. On paper, this is a really good hire. This would be A-, I think, based on who's available, based on what you need in terms of offensive side of the football. So I'm going to type my Y for yes, but time will tell. Jarrett Page. Hey, Harrison, say hi to my 4-day-old Scarlet Elise. 4 days. Jarrett, congratulations. Scarlet, maybe you are only going to witness good things for the Bears. My 21-month-old PJ has seen a lot of losing. Luckily, he's not going to remember these times right now, so by the time he does, hopefully it'll be good days ahead. But Scarlett, happy belated birthday. 4 days. Congratulations, Jarrett, to you and yours. Andres, another side note, I think Allen would be a near-perfect scheme fit for DC given the secondary we have. We can probably see Tyreek thriving it too. That's something Dennis Allen is known for, being exotic on the back end. Different coverages. Brian Flores, for example, he's exotic with his fronts, with his blitz packages. Dennis Allen is exotic with his coverages. And the Bears have a very talented secondary, so if they can get better up front, generate more pressure consistently, and confuse teams with their back end, I like the sound of that. Jacob, 1997, just pitched a tent in my I'm not even going to read the rest of that, but that's good stuff. Ben Johnson, baby. Trade Talk Sports Chicago. Do you know when his press conference will be, and who do you think could be the OC and offensive line coach, pass game coordinator? I'm not going to guess all those positions. I think offensive coordinator, keep an eye on Hank Fraley, the O-line coach in Detroit. If you could poach him, give him an OC title since Johnson's going to be calling the plays. I would like that very much. He's worked with the best offensive line in football for 2 years. And we'll see about the rest. Is Thomas Brown a guy that you keep on staff? That's a Ben Johnson decision. Would Brown want to stay under Ben Johnson? I'm not sure. But, I'd just be speculating. Is Antoine Randall a guy you bring over to be your offensive coordinator? Is Tanner Engstrand, who's the pass game coordinator in Detroit, do you make him the OC? We know Ben Johnson's going to call the plays, so anybody that becomes your OC is going to be a non-play calling one, which is kind of why I like Hank Fraley, bring that offensive line pedigree in here. Paleo, on the note of the coaching change, do you think Brisker and Stevenson have been put on notice? Personally, I want to keep both those dudes. Like them both. With Brisker, there's obviously the concussion concerns. I like that Stevenson finished the year strong. I thought he played really well against Green Bay in Week 18. I thought he laid it on the line with some hard hits, some good coverage plays as well. I still believe in his talent. Obviously had a tough year with how the whole Hail Mary thing went down, kind of went into a slump after that as well. But I believe in the player. We know what Jalen Johnson's about. You got Kevin Byard for one more year under contract. Kyler Gordon's a stud at nickel. I think you need a good third safety to hedge for Brisker with his concussion concerns. So we'll see how they approach that spot as he missed the final 12 games of the year. Watcher Monkey, happy to see Harrison's hope renewed. The moment Cairo hit that field goal against the Packers, salute, mate. Listen, that was just a great way to end that in a dreadful season and maybe give yourself just some mental momentum into the offseason. I know there were a few fans, it cost us 3 draft slots. Who cares? You hadn't beat the Packers in over 2,000 days. That was a good moment to win that game. Jaden Ortiz here. Target O-line and free agency, draft Genty, who says no. I have consistently said I don't think they will and don't necessarily want them to draft Genty in the first round. However, if they invest heavily in the O-line and free agency, that opinion could evolve. that opinion could change. So we'll see. Long way to go. See what happens to the NFL Combine. See what the Bears do in free agency. I don't know if I'm going to the Combine this year. I went last year. If I get the opportunity, certainly would like to go again and maybe see Ashton Jeanty up close. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. All right, we are sponsored by Game Time. If you're looking to get tickets to a sporting event, go watch the Ben Johnson Bears next season. The Blackhawks, the Bulls, whatever the case may be, Cubs and White Sox when those seasons get here. Get your tickets with Game Time today. Use the feature Game Time Picks, which will make getting tickets to see your favorite teams and performers perform much easier. It'll filter out the fluff of thousands of seats. That way, it saves you a lot of time to get those tickets. It'll kind of price point different spots within the venue, and based on your budget, you'll be able to figure out really quickly what seats you want. You can get super deals, which are the best value for any event that you get tickets on through Game Time. You can search for events based on the venue, based on the team, etc., based on date. A lot of ways to search for your tickets. If you are looking for a new date idea, take a significant other out, get tickets to a concert, comedy show, whatever the case may be, do it with Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Download the app today. Use promo code ChatSports. It's right there on screen. Code ChatSports to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. Last-minute tickets, flash deals, views from the seats, which is very important. You don't want to have a bad vantage point. You'll be able to see the quality of seat that you're getting. $20 off. Code ChatSports. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Terms do apply. What time is it? It's Game Time. Link in the comments and description to download the Game Time app today. All right, excuse me. Jaden. Target O-line and free agency draft Jeanty. I think we answered this one, but we'll see, Jaden. TJ, any chance Johnson will want to draft Jeanty? I love the Jeanty questions. I think he'll be open to it, but I think he knows that the offensive line has to improve. So that really comes down to free agency. Does he take a swing at a Ronnie Stanley in free agency? Does he go after Trey Smith? Drew Dahlman? Like, there's guys out there. I will say it's a pretty good free agency class for offensive linemen, so we'll see. Alex Ammerling, Hank Fraley as offensive coordinator. Possibly. That's who I would like to get, someone who can help this offensive line out. Hunter Young, how much of a step back does Detroit take after losing Ben Johnson? Possibly Aaron Glenn. I would say probably Aaron Glenn. Look, I'd be guessing, but good luck to Dan Campbell replacing him, right? We're about to find out two things about Detroit. One, how big are the chops for Dan Campbell? Can he replace these guys? And two, how effective can Jared Goff be without Ben Johnson? I think Goff's a good player. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think Johnson did elevate him. Does he take a step back? We're about to find those things out. Tony Williams, talk about where we were 3 years ago and where we are now. Crazy difference. Such an exciting time as a Bears fan. Harrison, we are so back. Well, we still got to see the results, but there's reason for optimism. I will say that. There's reason for optimism. Let's get this staff built out, hopefully starting with Dennis Allen, and go from there. If you're all in on Ben Johnson, type me in the comment section down below. If you're watching live, spam the live chat as well. I'm all in. Let's see how it all plays out. The news with Jared Robert Diaz looks like I won't be a Packer fan. Was that your threat if they didn't get this right? Let's go. Beat the Packers, get Ben Johnson in a matter of 2 weeks. Not a bad 2 weeks. Papichulo sits when we get the free agents video. I think you just mean when are you getting a free agent targets video? Soon. That'll be around the corner. All right. Who do we got next here? We got Jack. Appreciate it. You skipped my boy Arturo's 20 super chat. I think we've hit them all, Jack, but we'll circle back and be sure. Blaine, what's your ceiling and floor for next season? I got to see what the roster looks like. I mean, I can't imagine the floor is any lower than it was this year. I don't know. I think it's a wide variance. Is it anywhere from 5 to 12? Like, who knows? I did not think they'd take two wins back from last year to this year, so we'll see. David, do you think Ben Johnson will attract high-level free agents? I would think offensive players would be interested. playing with him, playing with Caleb? I would think so, but time will tell. Adam, finally the Bears didn't go cute and hire some high school coach. I don't think they've hired a high school coach, but I get what you're saying. They didn't go get the CFL coach. They didn't get Matt Eberflus, who might have been fired from the Colts anyway. They identified the big boy target on the market, and they got him. And that matters, and the Bears deserve credit for that. They've made a lot of mistakes, a lot of missteps. It doesn't mean it's going to cure everything and solve everything. This isn't some guaranteed elixir, but I feel pretty good that they made a good hire here. Alan Mack, drink for the Irish. Filming this mailbag on Monday afternoon. Depending on when you guys watch this, we'll see if Notre Dame won or not. Jason, do you think Ben Johnson had made his intentions clear to come here in the earlier interview? It's hard to say. I guess we'll find out. I would guess we'll get some reporting on that as time goes on here. Ari Meroff did have this note that you don't see this often, that a team hires a coach without an official in-person interview. I give credit to the Bears for that. Like, hey, this is our guy. We interviewed a bunch of guys to do our due diligence. This is our guy. We need someone to jumpstart the offense. We need someone to pair with Caleb Williams. And they got him. Hey, you're not going to fly to Vegas. You're not going to fly to Jacksonville. We're going to lock this thing down. Good for the Bears, man. DJ Spawn, I hope that Ben takes the Bears-Packers rivalry serious. Beat them 2 times a year. Yeah, look, I like what the players' energy in quotes were during Packers week. Jalen Johnson said, fuck him. DJ Moore said, fuck Green Bay. Caleb Williams, when they won the game, talked about the importance of the rivalry and how it had been so long since they beat them. Seems like they got players who understand it. Ben Johnson's been in the NFC North. He's not an idiot. He knows how important the game is. Dallas J, I'm convinced the Bears kept Eberflus another year only because timing was off. Ben wanted one more year in Detroit. Bears wanted Ben. Could be. Could be. Will we know that? Will we ever know that for sure? I don't know. I know Albert Breer a couple months ago reported that Ben Johnson was interested in this job last year had it opened up. It didn't. Maybe that's true. Maybe it is. My guy, C. Breezy Cullen, the one day I'm off. Shake my head, but LFG and as always, FGB. Let's go, Cullen. Shout out to my guy. We got producer Sam filling in, but pretty fitting that Cullen is off the day this goes down. But he'll be back in studio with us on our next live show, I'm sure. So shout out to my guy, Cullen Brown. Shout out to my guy, Trace Gerard, leading our social team here, putting this little graphic together, the Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson edit there. Pretty cool stuff. Thanks to everybody who has tuned in to all of our videos as of late. The content never stops. It's not stopping here. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and as always, bear down, baby. Alrighty, who do we got next here? Scott Wallace, thoughts about line players like Skipper and Raymond wanting to come for Ben Johnson. Cleve Raymond's an interesting option. He could be like your DeAndre Carter replacement, be your returner, number 4 receiver type. He has some speed. It's an interesting name. Skipper can be like that number 6 lineman, swing tackle. They like using him in jumbo packages. They'll throw to him occasionally. I like it. Chicago, Harry Poles can gain my trust back if he fixes the trenches. He made a step in the right direction. Absolutely. As long as he's here, there's a chance to, to redeem yourself. Until he's unemployed, there's things can get turned around, no doubt about it. And he's made some good steps. There's just been some misses along the way. He's still a young guy learning too. Sean B. Johnson's system is complicated to learn. Patience. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much he tweaks it based on the Bears' talent, based on Caleb. If the expectation is to score 40 points in the first game, that's probably unrealistic. It'll take time. It'll take time. Alex, just make sure Skipper is eligible. Real ones know that Lions-Cowboys game a couple years ago, and Skipper didn't report, Doug Kramer style. Good times. Street Punk Clips. We have to get a good O-line coach. Also, side note, unless Wright becomes a stud, I will never forgive the Bears for passing on Jalen Carter. First-time Super Chatter. Look, Jalen Carter's awesome. No question about it. I do think we have to mention 8 other teams passed on Carter as well. I know a couple of those teams took quarterbacks, but still. And at least Darnell Wright's been a good player. It's not like he's been a flop or something.
And again, we can't ignore the fact of why those teams passed on Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
at the
like
time. At the time.
There was real reason to be concerned. And also, knowing the Bears, do we really think Matt Eberflus could have, like, I don't know, led a young, immature guy like Jalen Carter properly? I don't know. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, like, there were real concerns there.
Let's not forget, I mean, I was literally right there in Indianapolis. The arrest warrant for Jalen Carter came out 25 minutes before his NFL Combine interview was scheduled.
He also,
on the biggest week of his life.
Remember, he also literally couldn't finish a workout at his pro day because he was so out of shape. Remember, he was exhausted.
Yeah. It was an Orlando Brown-esque 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
Look, Jalen Carter's awesome. I also think Darnell Wright's been good. And to be fair, how much do we bitch about the offensive line? Imagine it without Darnell Wright. So I think a lot of things can be true. I'm not giving him a pass, but I'm not completely blaming him either. Bum of Wall Street, I'm bricked up, I'm hyped, tides are turning. I hope so, Bum. I hope so. Who we got here? Moss Tanker. When do we get our asses crowned? I can't wait until we are a go. I don't know what you're saying there. We think we can, as good as we think we can
I think that's probably something what he meant, yeah. And
I'm with you, Moss.
At this point, that's certainly what you think the ceiling of the offense is.
Yep.
The Detroit Lions.
Yep. Right, Cal? Is Ben Johnson picking his own coaching staff? If so, then who? I mean, he needs to. I mean, sure, Poles can have some involvement, but Ben needs to be picking these coaches, period, end of story. So, Dennis Allen's been the name linked for defensive coordinator. There was also a report from Biggs about Darren Rizzi.
Yes, new tweet. New tweet from Adam Schefter here, and let me edit the tech issue. This is a big one.
Yeah.
And give me your initial thoughts already off the bat here.
I mean, if you get Dennis Allen and Darren Rizzi is one of the top special teams coordinators in the NFL. He got a second head coaching interview, by the way, not just the Saints. The Jets interviewed him as well. So, like, he has respect around the league. It sounds like Chicago has the inside track to get him as well. So you get Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, and Darren Rizzi potentially to be like your trio of head coaching coordinators. That we'll see. It's not there yet, but that would be pretty damn impressive. Matt Booth, what are the odds the Bears move up and snag Mason Graham or Abdul Carter? If one of them slides to like 5 or 6, could I see it? Yes. I don't think you're moving into the top 4. And they might both go top 4. The top 4 could be, well, top 5. It feels like right now, and Sam, let me know if you disagree, the top 5 in whatever order are the 2 quarterbacks, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and then these 2 guys, Mason Graham and Abdul Carter. If one of them slides outside the top 5,
maybe Will Johnson sneaks in instead of one of these 2.
Tataroa McMillan, maybe, if he has a crazy like combine.
Yeah. There's always room for those little random risers. I'll even throw in like the Michael Williams of the world, who is the Trayvon Walker from 2 years ago. All trades, production didn't match it.
Yeah.
But holy shit, this guy jumps off paper.
Could one of the offensive tackles rise? I mean, teams are always desperate for O-line.
I will personally put Mason Graham and Will Johnson together, rounding out the top 5. Abdul Carter just outside the top 5.
If Carter falls to 6 or 7, I'd be intrigued.
I think you have to be. intrigued. I mean,
you put him
a lot of great defensive players this year.
Put him opposite of Montez Sweat, who's more of a power rusher. Carter's more of a speed rusher. That's intriguing. Hit stick. Pump for the hire of Ben Johnson. Any idea what type of defense Dennis Allen runs? 4-3 scheme, exotic coverage looks. Like, he's going to mix up coverage looks. So that's kind of that. I don't know what his blitz rate is. He's more aggressive on the back end than blitzes, I believe. So we'll look into that. But he's definitely more. He's not as vanilla as Eberflus. I know that. But yeah, he'll mix up looks. David, appreciate the 20, David. Currently, Roger Goodell writing on a post-it note, Bears at Lions week 1. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if they did that. Maurice, Does this mean we'll see more goal line Kramer? Hopefully it means Kramer's not on the team. No offense to Doug Kramer, but
Seems like a nice guy.
see, it does seem like a nice guy, but kind of feels like that ship has sailed.
You just got to line up. You just got to report as eligible. It's not. You got one job. He had one job.
He had one job. Tori, how do you all get home after all these shots and beer bongs? There's this service called Uber that typically helps. Or if you're in Sam's case, you can walk to work.
Yep.
I'm a little further, so
walking distance. Most of the time, I choose not to.
Yeah.
I could, but I don't.
Yeah. To be fair, I've only had 2 beer bongs today, so if it ends at 2, that'll wear off. But if you guys get a few more in me, the old Uber will be my friend. But light at the end of the tunnel. FBG again. It's FGB, fellas. FGB.
I think YouTube is trying to take over. They're trying to stop us from hating on all the Packers fans, which never stop us from
YouTube
doing
Pro
that.
Green Bay, of course. Matt Hughesman, another first-time super chatter. We appreciate that, Matt. How much input will Ben Johnson have with free agency in the draft? I got to think a decent amount. I got to think that they've worked out some agreement where he's going to have a good amount of say. But we'll see if we find out those details. I'm sure that'll be a question asked at the presser. Like
I said early on, I think you have to give him more.
Especially with the offense.
You have to allow him to put his fingerprints on the team. And if it turns out that those fingerprints are muddy and ugly and full of soot and ash and clay, then you hand it to your management. At that point, like I said, I think if you're taking away input from Ben Johnson, you've already gotten rid of Ryan Poles.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of settles that question.
Exactly. Federico, first-timer. Love the first-timers. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Beer money for the Bears, coaching hour celebration. Harrison, you spoke it into existence. Do we have concussion concerns for Roschon Johnson? Yeah, I don't think they're as severe as Jaquan Brisker's, but yeah, he's had multiple as well. I think you need to upgrade there anyway. Like, to me, you look at this running back room. To me, Homer's gone. He's a free agent. I would like to slide the top 2 down a peg. And now maybe Swift, it's like a 1A, 1B with someone they bring in. Like, that's kind of how Detroit is. The starter doesn't really matter. But you get more of a physical, explosive downhill runner that can run between the tackles. He's your kind of downhill guy. Swift is your receiving kind of home run hitter guy. And then Roschon's your third back that can play on special teams and, can get a few snaps here and there, goal line, third and long, so he can pass protect, all that stuff. Wolf, this is the most hyped I've been since seeing Caleb scream, "Woo!" coming out of the draft, tunnel at the draft last year. Bear down, baby. Let's go, Wolf. Appreciate the 5. Appreciate the 5 from Eric here. He says, hell yeah, I thought the Bears might hire Ben Johnson late in the week, but not on Monday. I'm so pumped for this hire. Hope he makes Caleb a star. That's what the hope is. Make Caleb a star, win games, Super Bowls. Shout out to the Bears, baby. Let's go. Let's go. And that's priority number 1 here with Ben Johnson is getting Caleb to the next step. I think there were good signs as a rookie. It was up. It was down. It was awesome at times. It was ugly at times. But stability with the coach to pair with the quarterback, that was the intention with this hire. And now it's about putting the work in to get there. Louis, let's get Scattaboo in like round 3. Yeah, I could see him being in that mix. I wish he was a little more explosive, but he's a fun player. Definitely wouldn't shock me. Ritzy, is that it here? This makes me want Keenan back for next year. Yeah, if the price is right, I'm in. I don't think you can break the bank there, but can you get him on a 1 or 2 year deal? Like, I don't know, could you get him for like 2 years and I don't know, like 25 to 30 million? 30 would probably be the most I'd go, 15 a year. 2 for 30, 20 guaranteed, something like that. Keenan's a good player still. Kind of had some weird drops this year, but he's a guy that Caleb trusts. He can still run hella routes. This can still be an awesome trio. I still think this can be a trio that we hyped up as potentially the best in the league. I think it can get to a really high level with better coaching and better consistency from the offense. But it's going to be a money play. And I think it needs to be clear. Like, Rome needs to have a bigger role. That's for sure.
But this can be, like you said, what you kind of made it out to be.
Yeah,
right?
That's still on the table.
I think there are too many things that were out of their control, in a sense, that led to failures.
Yeah.
Google Shane Waldron, and that's all you need to know. Then Google Thomas Brown, and that's all you need to know.
I think Thomas Brown
was improvement.
I think he did the best he could running Shane's offense.
Sorry, maybe let me rephrase. Let me Google Bears management adding more to Thomas Brown's plate that they didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because I think that, that's another thing that's just out of their hands.
Keeping Flus and hiring Waldron, it just wasn't a good decision. Trooper, big step in the right direction, but now the Bears have to let Ben bring in who he thinks will be a good fit, bear down. Exactly. What is his vision for this team? That's what I want to see the Bears execute. Jaxo, oh baby, we're about to bring the boom. The Bears' opponents for next season have been revealed. Will you do a video on it? Yeah, the opponents are out. We'll probably do that at some point. There's just been so much coaching search buzz. We don't know the week-by-week schedule and won't until May, but yeah, we'll probably do that on a video. J1, dream offseason scenario with Ben being hired now. Probably do that as well. Got a lot of content that is coming your way, so stay tuned. Mad Skills University. This chat is a perfect 10. What are your thoughts on how to improve the O-line? Invest. Sign good players. Draft good players. I mean,
basic GM shit, basically.
Just identify guys that fit with what you're trying to do and be willing to pay them. That's my thoughts. But there's some good players out there. Poppy Chulo sits. Schefter said Rizzy. Yeah, we hit that a few minutes ago. Darren Rizzy, I think a guy to keep an eye on here. And listen, they could have the hot shot name as their head coach that a lot of teams wanted in Ben Johnson. Dennis Allen, who is objectively one of the better defensive coordinators in the NFL. And Darren Rizzy, one of the top special teams coordinators who became the Saints interim head coach, did a decent job, actually, and got an interview with the Jets. Now, is that kind of a joke that the Jets interviewed him as a head coach? Yes, but still, that shows he's got some chops. So definitely wouldn't be upset with that at all.
I do think it's really worth noting the respect I think that Rizzy garners as well. All those players loved him in New Orleans. They love the energy he brings. They rally together around him like you hope that a team would around the interim head coach. Granted, the results maybe necessarily not there, but I think that is worth noting.
No doubt. Boner Jams, what a name. Anyway, we could take Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Love the Spin Johnson hour. Yeah, and I mean, I think the point you're outlining there is, look, do the Bears have some offensive talent? Yes. Is it what the Lions currently have? Not right now. Like, you're going to have to hit on some more players. But Ben Johnson, I think, is a guy that can get more out of the players you have than you have in recent years. Shout out to Michael Horowitz. I'm so hard right now. Can't wait till September.
I got to say, first time in a long time again, like we said, doing a Bears live show. I forgot how electric this chat can get.
Oh, it's electric. And Horowitz is at the center of it. So Horowitz, we crossed 900. We're almost at 1,000, which means Sam will join me. We can do a little beer bong race once we cross 1,000.
I'm already mentally preparing myself.
So shout out to the chat, man. Refrigerator repair. Does this mean Jay Cutler was passed over? Maybe the Raiders will hire him. The Raiders can hire whoever they want. Just know they didn't get the one guy they wanted. Just know that, Raiders fans.
Well, no, remember, they didn't want him now.
Oh, that's true.
Mitch doesn't want a guy who's going to run the team.
Yeah, they've already spin zoned it. I hear Antonio Pierce is still available. Jake Cameron, you think we could get Robert Saleh? He might get a head coaching job. Sounds like he might get the Jags job. Second interview there. Also in the mix in Vegas and Dallas. And I think it's kind of the worst-kept secret in the NFL right now. If he doesn't get one, the 49ers are bringing him back. Doesn't it feel that way? Like if he doesn't get a head coaching job?
I think it's kind of hold out hope, make sure Kyle Shanahan doesn't want him, and then you kind of go from there.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, I think he's back with the Niners. Wasim, is Chat Sports going live for tonight's game? Yes. Who is that the Downey and the boys?
That is, yeah, that's the
Downey
Downey Stone Shields collaboration out in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Tom Downey will be live. They'll be live for the game.
Big game for, I think, just Midwestern America tonight.
Yeah. It's a good college football national championship brand game.
Yeah, coming off of last week's battle for God's support between the Presbyterians of Penn State and the Catholics of Notre Dame. This one is a little bit more towards the middle end of that spectrum.
It's not quite Catholics and convicts, but
No.
it's closer to that.
No.
By the way,
where's Urban watching the game tonight? That's what I must know.
By the way, before we get to Brian here and bring the boom.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you agree with me. And I am still team 12 team playoff. But I woke up today and I was like, oh, the national championship's tonight.
I forgot.
I think it's a little too far into January. I think a couple ways to fix it. One, start the regular season a week earlier. Two, you don't need that extra week after conference championship week.
Yeah, probably not.
That's when the playoffs should start.
That's
like
you're
ideally.
Whoa, Army Navy.
Do that.
Go Troops.
Week 0.
Sure.
Have it kick. Joel Klatt had that idea. Have that kick off the season. Standalone game.
For America,
I like it.
I could get behind that.
I like it. But yeah, I think ideally you want the national championship to be done, not necessarily before the wild card round of the NFL playoffs, but before the divisional round. Because like yesterday, the divisional round concludes, and you're like, oh, conference championships. Oh wait, the national championships tonight. It's too late.
I just don't think it's really been marketed out all that much, and then for good reason, the NFL overshadows that every time.
Yep. All right, we got our guy, Brian Bears stealing. Boom, boom, boom. 5 big booms. Shout out to Brian.
And a double chunk chocolate
cookie. For me, the playoffs next year would be awesome. Be competitive in the North. I'll be happy. Enjoy the drink. I will. $20 more, and Sam's joining me, by the way.
I would like to do it. $16 more. Shout out to Trooper the Bears fan back into it.
Josh Pike, how is listen, the Bears overshadowed 47.
You'd think it'd be
shout out to the Bears.
You'd think that'd be more of a Cowboys type of move.
Yeah, Jerry hires Brian Schottenheimer today to take over the news cycle. Could you imagine the reaction if Brian Schottenheimer got that job?
It's gonna be the most Cowboys thing ever to just go with the least low profile guy.
Just hire Dion for the entertainment.
They really should start hiring for content. Not hiring for wins and losses. They're not playing for
winning
wins and
bowls
losses
anyway.
anyways.
You might as well just be entertaining.
Yeah.
Eric, how much cap space do the Bears have? It's gone down a little bit when they signed those futures deals. I don't know the exact number. I think it's like $70 million right now. It's a lot. They have a good amount. Applesauce. If Ben Johnson inserts himself as our starting center, it could be a real upgrade. I don't think you want Ben Johnson as head coach center combo, but we'll see what they do at center.
Would be the first in NFL history. We're really making history out here in Chicago now.
Jeff Saturday was close, but he decided to just coach and be terrible at that. Cornelius, will Ben Johnson like Tyson Bagent as the backup? Good question. We'll see. I like Bagent as the backup. He's cheap and pretty decent. So I would imagine he's the backup, but you never know. Never know what they'll do. The Bears fan with the 5. What do you think about Ashton Genty now that we have Ben Johnson? We have 2 top 40 picks. We can get Lyman later and in free agency. Yeah, to me, sitting here right now, I would not take Genty in the first round, but that opinion could change after free agency. What do you do with your free agency money? Do you sign a couple starting offensive linemen? If you do, maybe you do go Genty in round 1. Certainly could be a possibility. Trooper. Big day for Chicago. For years, it's been hard to root for the Blackhawks, Bears, Bulls, Sox, and Cubs, but now with this hire, there's hope again. That's the word, hope. Feels like there's hope. Feels like there's reason for optimism. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of hope in your life. Chris, what you know about the Bears, son? Talking to me or someone else?
I think it might just be like get fired up. What you know about the Bears, son?
What you know about the Bears, man? Come on. Shout out to Chris Ayers, man. The Bears fan. Thoughts on bringing Tevin Jenkins back? Depends on price. To me, I'll let him hit the market, let him see what's out there. If it's not a great market and you still need a starting guard, you could bring him back. I think if you bring him back, you need to have a high-quality backup guard. And maybe Matt Pryor's that because you know Tevin's going to miss time. But if Pryor is your top backup interior guy, I could live with it. Like, say you go Tevin Jenkins, Matt Pryor, and then you either draft your other starting guard or maybe you sign a Trey Smith or someone like that, then I could get behind that. But I'm not going to overpay for Tevin, and if I do bring back Tevin, I got to have a backup that I trust. So there you go. Oh, we can take old Nate Davis off the backup sheet there. He's hit the road. We'll see ya. All right. We're so close to 114,000 subscribers. Sub for Bears Dubs. Daily content here on the channel. That doesn't change just because the Bears have now hired a head coach. Hit that sub button. We'll have more content. I'll probably do a video here in a little bit off of live talking about the other coaching rumors, Dennis Allen, Darren Rizzi, etc. So stay tuned for that. And more content to come. So lock us in here on the channel. Before we sign off, by the way, we are $9 away from Sam joining me in a beer bong race, so I would love to get there before we sign off.
I know.
There's 5.
Hey,
so
there you go.
We need one more $5 super chat, and we are there.
I know Colin usually gives you a head start. I probably
no head start for this one.
No head start.
I want to see where I sit against Sammy. Colin he's kind of a tank. Maybe Sam's a tank too. I haven't seen Sam do a beer bong in a while.
I hope I'm more along the Colin
pipeline
side of the spectrum. Now, again, I'm fighting through
illness,
sinuses, just like a baseball bat to my forehead right now. But nobody cares. We still come in. We still grind.
Oh, our guy moves.
Or some of us do. Some of us
getting over the finish line. Some do. Some don't. Robert with the 5. I was waiting for the Ben Johnson hire to turn out to be another Dave McGinnis situation. Bears have a history of effing things up. They do.
Can you give me,
maybe it's changing.
As the only person in the room here that's not a diehard Bears fan, can you give me the Dave McGinnis situation?
It's not worth talking about.
Okay. Awesome.
It's not worth talking about. Trace Mustakis, Kings of the North. Book it. Bear down. Shout out to our guy Moose, a fellow Bears fan here at Chat Sports. Shout out to Moose, man.
It's race time.
And that's first time super for Moose, man. All right, we're going to knock out this beer bong race. Here you go. Oh, you have to go get a apparatus. There's only one in here. So if you want to go run and do that real quick. Sam's going to go get a beer bong, and then we will race, hit any final super chats, and then call it a day. Losing my voice, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let me check something real quick. Shout out to everybody who watched the breaking news video, by the way. That video getting a lot of good feedback, so appreciate that. There you go. Use that. All right. Sammy Chugg's joining me. Drippy drip. All right. S for Sam. H for Harrison. Who's going to bring this thing home? Get your votes in the comments. The way we do it here, I count down 3, 2, 1, and then on go we start. So you ready? Yep. All right, here we go. S for Sam, H for Harrison. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah, it's closer to Cullen. I don't think it was quite Cullen, but it was closer to Cullen than me, certainly.
Give him the too small.
I'll give Sam 3 big boom, boom, boom. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Sam. I know a few more supers came in. We'll hit those, and then we'll probably sign off here. I'm going to work on another video.
That felt good. I know I'm sick, but that
Your
felt good.
sinuses you're back.
You know,
you might be back.
They say alcohol kills bacteria. I'm starting to believe them.
Neither confirm nor deny those theories. I'm sure RFK is all over it.
He will be over the next 4 years.
Yeah. Matt, appreciate the 7 Canadian dollars. Was it me or Mitch when we first got a Canadian super chat? I was like, is that a Californian super chat? Seems like something Mitch would say. I think it was Mitch.
That's got to be
Yeah.
Is that a San Francisco currency or is that a SoCal currency?
Appreciate it, Matt. David, we just did, David. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. We got Isaiah. We were here last year. We were on the same high, very high level of optimism. What's different this time? Well, the caveat last year, and I said it all last year, is they should not have kept Matty I was proven to be right. Not trying to victory lap. I don't think it was that hot of a take. But look, and I'll say it now. We got to see the results. But for today, January 20th, I think you're allowed to be excited. We have 8 months to wait until there's games again. So, I think you're allowed to live in the moment and be excited. While also, to your point here, Isaiah, still, be skeptical. Make the Bears prove it. They still got to prove it. But I do think today is a step in the right direction. All right, thank you guys so much. Live for about 2 hours here, taking all your questions, talking Ben Johnson to the Bears. Ben, we are rooting like hell for you, buddy. Let's get this staff going. Dennis Allen, Darren Rizzi. Let's get these boys on board, and let's go chase greatness here. Get Caleb Williams going. My name is Harrison Graham. We have plenty of content to come, so stay tuned here on the channel. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Like the videos. Turn on notifications. It all helps us grow and allows us to do more live breaking news scenarios like this. Appreciate Sam Brown for producing. My name is Harrison Graham. Shout out to everybody in the chat who liked the video, lit up the comment section, donated. You guys are incredible. We are out of here. Great day to be a Bears fan. Bear down.